Timmy Joe reviews anything.
Reviewing computer parts on YouTube.
That's
Woo! Gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh, yeah.
What's up, people? My name's Timmy Joe, making videos about computers on the internet, and, yeah, I hear ya. Enough of you in the last video where I pronounced my dive into cryptocurrency. Unsubscribe! I've been watching you since you had 5 subscribers, Timmy Joe, but that's it. You get the axe. I get it, okay? We're going to have a little discussion. Cryptocurrency here, you know, this is the coin exchange. It took a super dive, and then it started going back up again. There might have been a little glimmer of hope in your eyes there, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
That, you know, it was going to crash and burn, and all the graphics cards would flood in the market, and everyone would be happy, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we got to come up with a game plan, and unfortunately, if you want to build a PC right now, you're going to be sticking to 1080p medium settings, and you might have to resort to something like this, the 750 Ti. Okay, 2 gigabytes. Now there are 4 gigabyte models, but this is probably the one you're looking at. Something like this, the Zotac, boom, 750 Ti with 2 gigs of GDDR5, 640 CUDA cores, yeah, and a base clock of 1 gigahertz, basically. A little bit overclocked. This one's 1033, but I overclocked the bitch to 1300 megahertz, and it plays video games at medium, you know, settings. Not bad, 1080p with, you know, about 30 frames a second. Now that's not going to be for everybody, but it holds its own. It's not terrible. It literally will, you know, it's a playable experience at medium settings, 1080p, as long as you don't turn any frame, you know, measuring devices like Fraps or, you know, MSI Afterburner and like check out the frame rates. You might be okay. I actually I had a decent time gaming on this, so let's go ahead and yeah, check this thing out, this little baby. But yeah, you know, we see here, you know, on eBay, they're going for under $100. That's too much, you know, $100 for this little graphics card. But in a time where its brethren, 1050, which has the same amount of CUDA cores, it's just clocked better, newer architecture, smaller manufacturing process. When that card is near $200, if you can get this for way under $100, you're laughing. Look at the dinky little heatsink on that, because look at the die. It's so cute. It's so tiny. It's, I need to put some new thermal paste on that. That's like nothing of a card. It weighs like a feather. So if you want to get a 1050, what kind of Skrilla do you got to pay? Well, you know, 1050 Ti, there's barely any in stock. Here's a 1050 Ti for $230 American. These used to be way under $200. It just ain't happening anymore. So how does it compare to a 1050? Well, let's check it out here. Pretty close, like I say. Both have 640 CUDA cores. One's definitely built on a lower manufacturing process. The 750 base clock of 1020. The base clock on the 1050 is 1300. But like I say, you can overclock this, but you'll be able to overclock the 1050 to probably 15 or more. So a 1050 is obviously your best bet. But if there's just no 1050, like I went to Staples today, thinking maybe I could pick up a 1050 to compare to this. I was because the Staples is bad for not updating the pricing. No graphics cards to be sold at Staples here in Canada or Best Buy, and you know, you're pretty limited supply for any of this stuff. So if you want to go to eBay, you might be able to hook up one of these for less than a hundo. But yeah, it's a rather unfortunate state of affairs. Boom. So yeah, this little guy, not a bad experience, 1080p, 30 FPS. I know that that's dismal at this point, but, you know, while we're talking about it, let's fire up some benchmarks, and we'll see in today's latest and greatest games, what does this thing do at 1080p here in 2018? Well, check out this little die and what it can do for you. Whoa. Not terrible. That's all real gameplay recorded with a Elgato. So did it look bad? Didn't feel that bad. You know, Wolfen's, you know, they're playable experiences, especially if you're willing to go to low settings. This will get up there 45, maybe 60 in certain games at 1080p. But I was looking at the games that, you know, are very graphically intense, Witcher and stuff like that. Totally playable. And you know, if this was a few years ago before the Xbox, you know, One X launched and the PS4 Pro, it provides, with a decent CPU, of course, a similar sort of 1080p experience as those you know, consoles did a few years ago. And I even made a video right here, a really terrible video, by the way, of how I put one of these in like a Best Buy system with a Core i5, and you know, comparatively it would get pretty decent frame rates compared to the Xboxes and the PS4s at the time. But of course we know that you know, this thing's not, it's not future proofing at all. If you're buying one of these, it's out of desperation because there's no other graphics cards out there, and you'd rather, you know, spend the $80 on this and maybe resell it for $80 or $60 down the line when graphics card prices come down. If they ever do, I'm beginning to worry that they're not, but who knows. Hopefully somebody will ramp up. There's money to be made. If Nvidia, you know, somehow magically pulled a whole new line of graphics cards out of their butt that maybe didn't crypto mine very well, but was very, very good for gamers at like 1440p, they could just clean up. Just saying. Same thing goes for if they built a card that was very, very good for miners, that was maybe a little bit more expensive. I made a whole video about it right here, like a Volta based mining GPU that was $1,500, that was just shit for video game you know, playing, but could, you know, had a lot of RAM and a lot of capacity and future proofness to keep mining ASIC proof or whatever, ASIC, anti-ASIC cryptocurrencies, you know, well into 2019. You know, people would buy those up, but, you know, I'll leave that up to you, Jensen, and whoever running AMD's graphics department at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of questionable stuff going on right now. Hopefully something stabilizes by summer. I'm Timmy Joe. I apologize that, you know, to all you out there that unsubscribed because of the mining video. Hopefully you'll come back one day, but you're here to see, you know, an alternative. I'm going to come up with a couple of them in the next few weeks. You know, mining proof cards. I've got another couple ideas on, you know, some good ones to try out, but here's my 750 Ti. I'm going to put it back together, and since I'm mining with all my other video cards right now, I'm going to go ahead and play some video games and feel your pain out there, guys. I'll see you guys in another video. I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. I have a Patreon if you like my videos. And if you have any suggestions for, you know, some anti-cryptocurrency proof video cards out there, I'd love to hear your story. But good luck out there. I hope you guys find your deals on your video cards. And I hope this does subside, for myself included, because I'm not going to buy up a bunch of GPUs to mine with. I might mine with some ones that I have, but I'm ultimately more concerned with getting my hands on some cool new hardware to test CPUs with. You know, because there's going to be a Ryzen 2 coming out. There's going to be lots of stuff coming up in the future, and I'd like to test it with something better than the 1070 I have, which is about the best graphics card I have. So I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you very much. Whew.